You know, this is a conversation I'm getting so sick and tired of, and it's one the studios keep promoting, keep peddling, keep pushing, because it makes them sound virtuous, makes them sound great, when even the vast majority of minorities agree that it's a bad idea, which is, of course, casting voiced characters in animated features, cartoons, whatever it may be, video games, based on the ethnicities of the real-world actors. Welcome back to Words Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yes, I am sure you've all heard, because this is actually old news, that the entire voice cast, save for potentially Zuko in the new Avatar animated films, are being replaced. Now, while this might be old news, the reason has come out, and this isn't speculation, this isn't, fear-mongering, oh, look at this, no. The casting director came out and full on admitted they are doing it for diversity purposes. So we're going to go through this before we do hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. From Bounding into Comics, my boy Spence, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, confirms original VAs were recast in order to match actors' ethnic/racial background to the characters. I don't know if many of you guys see a problem with this, or at least, of course, you probably see the surface level problem of, hey, that is actual wokeness, that's actual DEI, things to that effect. But here's the question. If you want to talk about movies, let's take Star Wars for an example, shoehorning in these lesbian characters, shoehorning in, the kisses in Star Wars movies, or black characters, whatever it may be, for the sake of diversity. Yeah, that is surface level, but it makes you wonder how much more is going on behind the scenes. How many people were hired on to the project as a whole because of diversity quotas? How many people were brought on for consultation or even to work behind the scenes or whatnot? Not because it's what they're good at, but because of the color of their skin. Because when they're so upfront and out with it about the main cast, what does that mean for everything going on in the back room? The writers, even the people who are serving lunch. I mean, at the end of the day, we're living in a world where skin color is what's getting people jobs, no matter what that job is. That's not a world that I want to live in. So yes, let's read through here and see what was actually said and get to the root of actual wokeness, actual DEI, and not just throwing stones and jumping at shadows. When the news broke that the upcoming Avatar: The Last Airbender sequel film, The Legend of Aang: The Last Airbender, had declined to bring back the original voice cast and instead chose to wholesale replace them, many fans were left scratching their heads as to what possible reason could have been motivated by this bizarre decision. But thanks to casting director Jenny Ju, not that kind of Jew, although I'm not surprised at all that it is a woman that made this decision, because we all know where women, by and large, fall on the ideological scale. We now know the reason was, unsurprisingly, identity politics. And I'm sure a lot of people want to jump and clamor that, they're older now, they're adults. This movie's about Aang and Team Avatar as adults. So first of all, any voice actor worth their salt is able to continue doing the role, whether they be a child, an adult, whatnot. That's the point of voice acting. So yes, you could say, they grew up or whatnot. No. A good voice actor would have been able to carry that voice through into the adult character, but that's neither here nor there. First announced as in production in February 2021 under the supervision of the original creators Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Kenzachetto via Paramount's then newly established Avatar Studios, with the pair's return to the animated series prompted by their dissatisfaction with the experience working on Netflix live-action series. Now remember this. This is going to come up because they can't be too dissatisfied about certain aspects of the live-action series, because this casting director, this Jenny Ju, she was the casting director for that terrible live-action Avatar series on Netflix. Yes, it was a big deal when Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Kenzachetto, again, I'm probably butchering that last name, left the show. That was one of what was supposed to be a saving grace of the live-action Netflix version. Much like Achiro Oda being behind the live-action One Piece, the original creators are involved. They're hands-on. They're going to be there for it, and that's why people had to hope for it. And then, when it was announced that they left because they did not get along with the production and the decisions being made, everyone threw up their hands in defeat. So this is going to be another live-action anime adaptation. And yes, I get it. Avatar's not anime. It is absolutely a Western property. The point is, it's going to be treated like so many other live-action anime adaptations. But for whatever reason, the gal that did the casting for the Netflix version also is doing the casting, and did the casting, for this animated follow-up. The Legend of Aang: The Last Airbender will serve as the first of 3 movies that will explore Aang and the company's adulthood adventures following the defeat of Fire Lord Ozai. However, despite picking up where the series left off, the film, as noted above, will not be bringing back the original voice cast for the main gang. Spencer, you son of a bitch. Despite all of them being still alive and mostly still working, but instead replace them with a brand new voice cast. And of course, that's fine. When I say that's, I don't mean that it's fine they're being replaced. The reasoning of, if they die, if they're no longer working, something to that effect, yes, by all means, replace voice acting then. We kind of have to. Now, there's an argument to be made that in the near future, we'll be able to bring them back via AI. That's a whole different discussion, one that, frankly, I can see both sides of. But the fact of the matter is, we're not there yet technologically. So, yeah, there's obviously going to be extenuating circumstances where you have to change the voice cast of certain characters. But changing the entire cast for diversity purposes, that is textbook woke. That is textbook DEI. And that is not the sort of shit that I am going to support. This alone is going to keep me from watching this movie, not just in theaters, but period. I will not give it the time of day. I will not give it respect, because I'm not going to promote or give my time, my money, my dedication, whatever, to virtue-based products. And that's what this is. This is a product based on virtue signaling. So yes, congratulations. You've lost yourself a potential customer based on this alone. Because if they're going to do this with the main cast, what might they do to the story? If they think it is so important to virtue signal with who is playing the characters, what do you think they will do with the actual characters themselves? Let's take Toph, for example. Toph is my favorite character in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Why? Because she's kind of a bitch. Let's be real. Like, she's got a disability, you know, she's blind and whatnot, and she was so self-deprecating about it. Like, there was so much humor that she brought on herself, given her disability. Do you think that they're going to allow that sort of humor in a film where they're casting based on a race? I mean, wouldn't that be ableism, even if it is self-deprecating? So yes, we already know that the character of Toph is going to be 100% changed, or even if we don't know, I think it's pretty strongly assumed. At current, the confirmed voice cast for The Legend of Aang includes, and I don't really care, you know, what their names are, but Korean dude for Aang, Jessica Madden as Katara. I have no idea where she's from. Romanian Zaragoza as Sokka. So I guess maybe Jessica Madden is also Romanian because, you know, Sokka and Katara, I'm guessing. And Dion Kwan herself, a blind woman. Oh my god! They even got a blind woman to play Toph! You're fucking joking! How you gonna read a script if you're blind? Like, did they're gonna go through the effort to make a Braille script for this bitch? I mean, what are you? Holy shit! They're doubling up. There's like, hey, yo, we can't just have a Chinese woman or whatever sort of Asian she is. We also got to make sure she's blind. How did she even see the casting call? Holy shit, that is a whole new level of virtue signaling. I did not realize they were going that hard. It should be noted that there does currently exist a rumor that Zuko's original voice actor, Dante Basco, will be reprising his role as the Firebender, but this has yet to be confirmed by an official source. And you know what? It would be a big mistake to recast him, not just because Zuko is arguably the fan-favorite character of the whole show, but Dante Basco is easily the most famous actor of the original crew as well. So, like, you're gonna need to bring him back for star power. Also, Dante Basco might have been at a convention a couple years ago. Absolute sweetheart of a dude. To this end, in the 2 years since the primary casting was announced, Paramount Pictures and Avatar Studios have remained completely radio silent as to the behind-the-scenes decisions that led to the VA shakeup. However, thanks to the aforementioned Jew, fans finally have their answer. It feels so strange to say Jew right now, given all the John Delarose after the TDS stuff. Jew, who's thus far a 17-year-long industry career, has served as the casting director for such projects as Inglourious Basterds, wow, great cast, The Brother's Son, didn't see, the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series, so that would be the Netflix one. Casting on that was pretty fucking hit or miss, I ain't gonna lie. Confirmed this production detail during a recent Ask Me Anything session held with the r/movies Reddit community. And here is the direct quote. Is there any, well, first of all, this is the question was asked. Is there any reason why you guys decided not to bring the original cast back for the ultimate nostalgia trip? The casting director asserted, since the original show was released, there's been more emphasis on voice actors to match actors' ethnic or racial background of the characters they're portraying. No, there hasn't! At least not by fans. Fans don't give a fuck. I know he gets brought up all the time, but I'm gonna bring him up again. Phil LaMarr is a black dude. In fact, Phil LaMarr is one of the most talented voice actors in Western voice acting. If you don't know who Phil LaMarr is, well, first of all, he voices Hermes in Futurama. Now, did you know that Hermes was originally a white ginger? He was supposed to be like a very nerdy white ginger character, and Phil LaMarr was still going to voice him, by the way. But then Phil had this idea. He said, yo, let me try this with a sort of Rastafarian accent. And because he was so good at it, they changed the character to be black, to be, you know, a Rastafarian. But that being said, no, of course, even if he was still white, they were going to have a black guy play him. Who else does Phil LaMarr play? Samurai Jack, an Asian. That's another one of his most famous roles of all time. Or, my personal favorite, in the Star Wars The Clone Wars series, he plays Kit Fisto, my favorite Jedi, mind you. So yes, I do not think that Phil LaMarr is a green water alien from a galaxy far, far away. Needless to say, it actually is not a big goddamn deal if voice actors don't match the ethnicity of the character they're playing, because the question becomes, can you do your fucking job? And in the case of Phil LaMarr, and many, many others out there, yes, they can. So when she says there's been more emphasis on the voice actor to match the actor's ethnicity and racial background, that is some Hollywood bullshit. They are the ones forcing that. We, the fans, don't care. Just do a good goddamn job. However, I do care if you start changing things and forcing it for ideological, whether it be ideological, whether it be religious, whether it be political, whatever the reason is. Point is, it's a virtue signal. It's not there because it's they're not being recast as the best for the job. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a fictional world. There are cultural influences for each nation/kingdom, and we wanted to explore the talent from those groups. She added, I can't say much more about the film, except I'm really proud of this cast. You shouldn't be. And I hope the other fans keep an open mind to this new iteration of our beloved characters. Well, fans, you shouldn't be. You absolutely should not be. And here's the dealio. Many aren't. We got Jean Gentry here. Now, Jean Gentry is one of the greatest accounts on X. If you don't follow her, absolutely follow her. She is a sweetheart. By the way, she's black. Why do I bring that up? Well, because she's going to have an opinion here that kind of backs mine up. The fact that she's black doesn't really matter. She's a sweetheart regardless, but let's be real. Since they're pandering, I'm going to pander a little. She says it's voice acting. The only actor who should be replaced is Greg Baldwin as Iroh. Not because he's white, but because he's a jackass. Get Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa to voice Iroh. That'd be fun. As for everyone else, the only reason there should be replacements is if an actor is unavailable or the negotiations don't work out. I would also say, obviously, dead. No one should be losing or gaining a voiceover job on the race alone. I couldn't agree more, Gene. Bingo, bango, bongo. Look at you coming in hot with some obviousness. But then we got my boy Kata here. My boy Kata had an even better take. One of the greatest movies ever made, and it's voiced by all white people. The narrative that a voice actor should be the same skin color as their character is stupid, and homie throws out the Prince of motherfucking Egypt. I could not agree with him more. This is one of the most well-acted, just, not even kids, this is just a fantastic movie. It doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your ethnicity, doesn't matter even your religious background. Doesn't matter you're Jewish, you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're a fucking atheist. Just the movie itself stands on its own as an amazing film. And guess what? It does not matter that every character in this, or actor I should say, is playing non-white characters even though they're white. Why? Because they did a good goddamn job. So yes, I'm not going to be seeing, I'm flat refusing, I am boycotting, and it's amazing. This is one of those things that I would have loved to see be good. Like everyone loves Avatar: The Last Airbender. In fact, I've gotten flack for the fact that I didn't grow up with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's not something I had nostalgia for. So when I watched it for the first time as an adult, like 6-7 years ago, maybe even more recently than that. So I was able to watch it without the rose-colored glasses and look at it analytically as an adult. I'm like, yeah, I can see why everybody loves this. This truly was a masterpiece for its time. I'm glad I didn't watch as a kid so that I got to experience without those rose-colored glasses, without the taint of nostalgia. And now, this is a project that I absolutely could have gotten behind as a newer fan, as somebody who came into the fold late, and because of your pandering, because of your adherence to the dogmatic identity politics regime that has taken over Hollywood, you've lost yourself a customer. And let me tell you, you technically lost me as a customer 3 times. This is going to be a 3-movie trilogy. Obviously, a 3-movie trilogy. Trilogy is 3 movies. You get my point, though. The fact of the matter is, good job. I'm sure there are many other Avatar: The Last Airbender fans that you have lost with this as well. I truly cannot believe that we are in 2025 and still making this mistake when everybody under the sun has been throwing a fit about this. I mean, when this was announced on X as being the reason why, scroll through the replies. You're going to see a whole lot of different people from a whole lot of different ethnic backgrounds, a whole lot of different geographical backgrounds, a whole lot of different backgrounds the world over. And they're all bitching and moaning about this. Now, I'm sure there's some people that are supporting it and okay with it, but let me good goddamn tell you, when I looked at the quote retweets, I didn't see one. So, yeah, let me know in the comments if you are also going to be boycotting, disavowing, and just disregarding this as part of the Avatar canon. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, or you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I have a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Not always about, the film industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon. And become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos we react to on the Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved. There were 180 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further because we do care about diversity. Only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.